Hello, amazing human, and welcome to Neurodivergent Bytes, a podcast for neurodivergent entrepreneurs to understand systems, change the narrative about productivity, and embrace yourself for who you really freaking are. If your energy is being sucked, you're struggling to focus, or you know you need systems, but there's a disconnect for whatever reason, join your host, that's me, Karalee, along with fellow amazing humans on how being a neurodivergent entrepreneur has impacted the way they do life and business. If you're looking for bite-sized action steps, you're in the right place. Hello, welcome back to Neurodivergent Bytes. I am your host, Karalee, and today we're going to be talking about focus. And specifically, when you can't focus, how in the world do you get back to being able to focus to get shit done? Okay, so it's very important to understand what the actual definition of focus is before we can even get started. Essentially, it's the center of interest or activity. It's the thing that you need to get done. Okay, it also helps us to focus when we know why we need to get it done. Okay, why does this thing that you know you need to focus on need to get done? All right, it can be a driving force, or it can do the opposite sometimes and make us procrastinate. I'm going to jump right on in today and get right down to what we're focusing on so that you can actually get to what you need to focus on. You need to focus on something and your focus has gone elsewhere. I want you to sit down and I want you to journal it out, or I want you to talk it out. It can be to no one, to the air. It can be to a human. It can be to a journal or a notebook, right? I want you to get it out either by writing it down or by talking it out, okay? Our brain processes things in a way because there is something that is blocking you from being able to focus on that thing that you really want to focus on, okay? And what helps me is by getting things out of my brain that are clouding my focus, my desire, my passion to get those other things done. It's literally just a disconnect in most cases, at least with me, is that there's other things that are just clouding my brain. So after you have done this journaling exercise or you're speaking with something, you should feel a lot better, okay? Maybe not focused yet, but you should feel a lot better. And if you still have a bunch of thoughts and things that are just spinning around in your brain, that's totally normal. Writing things out or talking them out only gets me feeling so much better. Sometimes, right? Sometimes that's all I need. Other times, not so much. So if I still need something else to get back to focusing, I'll jump into meditation. Okay, I have never been a huge fan of meditation, but I have found that when my brain is going 100 miles an hour and I really need to just have it slow down to focus, whether that be on sleep, whether that be on tasks, whether that be on my kids or my husband, whatever that is, sometimes I just need something to focus on. Ironically, I need something that is very music to focus on, right? It's natural, nature, things like that. So I meditate. Now meditation, I have to have something to focus on. I can't just sit in silence when I meditate because my brain is already going 500 miles an hour. Now I'm just more aware of how many thoughts are really in my brain. So I actually use an app called brain.fm and it has a meditation aspect to it. There's guided and unguided. It depending on the day, depends on which one I do, but I tend to use the unguided one where I find the meditation that feels very good to me. It feels very calming. And then I just literally I can literally feel my brain going in and out. Like it's getting just pulled away by the thoughts that are swirling around everywhere. And then it's getting brought back down into I can just focus on the music. And then it's going up and down like a roller coaster, right? And eventually the roller coaster isn't so up and down, right? It's not so highs and lows, right? And then it kind of it levels out a little bit and I'm able to just simply focus on that music, that meditation. And when I'm able to do that, it works almost every single time. Honestly, it's only not worked like once or twice. And I think that's because I said it wasn't going to work. So there is that. Our mind is very powerful. So once I'm able to kind of focus in on that, I normally sit there and just chill, relax, and just focus on those sounds that are very calming to me. Okay. And I'm also sitting very still. Okay, let's keep that in mind. We're not doing something while we're meditating, right? Meditating, we normally close our eyes. We are sitting in a chair, on a bed, or something like that. Like we're in a calm area. You could be out in nature when you do meditation, whatever feels good to you. Play around with it too. And then you're able to kind of like, after your brain has calmed down, I want you to then go back to that thing that you're trying to focus on. Okay? And start thinking about like, what is that next step? See if the thing that was the disconnect, right? See if that disconnect is now gone between your focus on the task and everything else going on in your brain. See if that disconnect is gone. And if it is, amazing. Like 90% of the time, that's all I need to do to really get things moving and back on track. If you have successfully been able to now focus on that task, you have probably almost entered a hyperfocus. This happens to me occasionally as well. And so when I'm able to hyperfocus on something, I get it done in half the time. We're able to like collapse time. And I feel like with this method, like you're clearing your brain out, then you're calming your brain down into a focused mode. And then, but you have been doing it with one specific thing in mind of focusing back on this task, right? And so when you're focused back on this task, essentially you've hyper-focused into this task, okay? So let's talk about what the term hyperfocus even means. So to hyperfocus on something is a type of focus, and it's a highly focused attention that lasts a long time. You normally concentrate on something so hard that you actually lose track of everything else going on around you. All right, so this is very common with ADHD and things like that. So I absolutely have hyperfocus at times. I do have ADHD. Essentially, it's just a very focused time period, whether it's a hyperfocus or just an intense focus. Either way, this sort of method has been super, super beneficial to me. Okay? So let's say that you have done all of these things and you're like, Karalee, this like, I'm still not focused, okay? Because it happens. More than likely, that means that you feel very out of alignment with what your task is that you need to actually be doing. Okay, what that thing is that you're supposed to be focusing on. You feel very out of alignment with it. You either don't have the energy or capacity to complete it. Like there is a disconnect in a different way. Okay, so if that might be the case, I need you to go back and I need you to go back to that journaling, because that journaling, you might have actually realized why there's a disconnect. And if you have not figured out the disconnect in that first set of journaling, I want you to sit down and be like, why does this task feel out of alignment to me? Like, why do I not want to do this task? Okay. And I want you to focus in on the amount of energy you have, the amount of drive that you have to do this task. Like, what is it that doesn't feel in alignment for you? Because I feel like 90% of the time when we're trying to focus on something that doesn't feel in alignment, our body and our brain is just like, but why? Like, I don't want to do this. This doesn't bring me anything. You know, and this happens a lot when we're in a 9-to-5. This happens a lot when we are out of alignment in what we're doing in our business. Like, there are so many reasons why we can't focus, other than our brain just has 5 million things going through it. Okay, there are tools, resources, techniques, and humans that you can use to help you narrow back in on your focus. It could be that you haven't ate today. Okay, or you haven't ate well today. It could be that you don't have enough water. It could be that you didn't get enough sleep last night. Okay, there is no one size fits all when it comes to going back to focus. All right, so I want you to be in tune with your body as well. What is your body saying that it needs to be able to focus, right? Is it saying that, oh man, I haven't had water all day, but I've had a ton of sugar or coffee or something like that? Like, so water that's not filtered through coffee beans. Okay, let's be very clear. I want to count this coffee as water, but I cannot, okay? Or I put milk and sugar in it. So if it was black coffee, we could get away with it a little bit more, but it's not. We're talking straight water, all right? Just for the record. Just for clarity for my coffee lovers out there. We're not talking about all those sugar-filled drinks, okay? That does not count as water in the slightest, all right? So really focus in on what does your body need. So we have focused in on our racing thoughts. How do we slow those down? And everything like that. We have focused in on what does our body need. And if none of those things are working, we've also focused on that. So I want you to take this last little bit here, and I want you to really reflect on your energy, your capacity, your alignment, and your body. Okay, this is all self-awareness practices. Okay, so what is self-awareness? It's conscious knowledge. So you're consciously doing this, like you know of this, of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. This is what I was talking about when I said you might feel out of alignment. You're very unaware of yourself. So a self-awareness reflection, I kind of just told you how to do that when you're journaling and when you're feeling into what your body needs in your brain, and we're calming it and we're narrowing in on the disconnects. Okay, these are self-awareness practices that we are doing. Okay, so I hope this gave you a little bit to chew on, but not too much. I would love to be able to support you more in this, but we are out of time for today's podcast, as I like to keep these under 15 minutes for you busy humans that are just, you're killing it. So go ahead and take these practices into account, use these methods, and really dig into what you're feeling, the alignment, and everything like that, okay? So until next time, I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and follow me on any of the other social media platforms. You can send me a DM on there as well. If you are like, I need some more support and you would love to work together, go ahead and either head to those social media channels or check out the show notes, as there are ways to contact me there. If you are like, oh, I just really want more podcast episodes like this, like where you dig deep into these things, you can go ahead and submit podcast requests, and that is also located in the description as well. I would love to be able to create episodes that you like to answer your questions and what you need, and the best way to do that is for you to fill out that form in the show notes and for me to be able to get that on the books for recording. All right, until next time, in case no one has told you today, you are absolutely amazing and you are seriously destined for great things in your own unique way. Bye for now. Before I wrap up today's episode, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey to empower neurodivergent entrepreneurs. I hope that you've gained valuable insights and a fresh perspective on productivity and self-acceptance. No matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, I'm here to support you. These transformative conversations will equip you with bite-sized action steps that you can apply immediately. Let's redefine productivity on our own terms and create a business that aligns with who we truly are. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast to receive the latest episodes and join our amazing community of neurodivergent humans. Remember, being unique is our superpower, and together we can rewrite the rules of success.